Did anyone else get the distinct impression that I was alluding to something big in my last video? I was. A few points, in order as they appeared in the video, which I will be doing one video at a time. By declaring the war on drugs, the U.S. government effectively created a lucrative new business opportunity for people who were willing to take the risk. Escobar and others like him were capitalizing on the increased demand for cocaine because they operated outside the norm of what you would consider laws. They were free to quarrel amongst themselves in an only the strong survive scenario. Basic logic and reasoning will allow you to see that this is an inevitable consequence of the government's declaration of war, seizing their goods, thereby raising the price and making these guys more money. The Just Say No campaign was part of this war, a silly little catchphrase that was supposed to be effective. It's interesting to look back with different eyes and see that the real war was being fought outside of the country, with real weapons. But what are the possible motivations for this war? I could say that the U.S. dependence on South American natural gas was peaking around this time. The support for real war was spoiled by Vietnam, and a presence was needed in South America for U.S. capitalist purposes. That would be opinion, though. But what is fact is that because the U.S. funneled inexplicable amounts of money into Central and South America for the purposes of the war on drugs, these countries became very friendly. One other interesting thing, Manuel Noriega, the leader of Panama, who was helped to power by the U.S., was arrested as part of this war on drugs, becoming a drug lord outside of leading his country. Panama is the only shipping passage from the Atlantic to the Pacific outside of sailing all the way around South America, and that the instability caused by Noriega's refusal to relieve power after halting elections made everyone who uses boats nervous. It was possible that he could ignore the Torrijos-Carter Treaty and nationalize the canal, ending U.S. control since 1903. But that is just a coincidence. Now, am I contending that by idling by and letting everything happen as it will, that everything will be okay? No. I am saying that throughout history, America seems to forget its past. It just creates a mess. Drugs are available anywhere in the world. And this is not just a testament to the war on drugs. You know, this mess I talk about is just this war on whatever. I mean, how many countries launch a massive overseas effort to stop drug imports? Not many. They depend on their own people's self-restraint and local drug enforcement. In fact, in many countries with lax drug laws, people who are going to use drugs simply do it, and the governments will still make arrests of dealers. The people who don't use drugs don't, and they don't impose their will on drug users, to save a few of the conservatives. America worked in reverse in this regard, from slaps on the wrist for possessing drugs to the overspending of the DEA, as in 2005 the DEA seized a reported $1.4 billion in drug trade-related assets and $477 million worth of drugs. Is that a disproportionate number or what? However, according to the White House's Office of Drug Control Policy, the total value of all the drugs sold in the U.S. is as much as $64 billion a year, making the DEA less than 1% effective. They operate on a $2 billion a year budget, by the way. I got that information from the DEA.gov website and WhiteHouseDrugPolicy.gov to give you some sources. The war on drugs sought to cause a massive surge in cost for illicit mind-altering substances. It worked from the perspective of markups, but in turn raising the market value of the trade in highly targeted drugs such as cocaine and heroin to over $1 trillion. However, it failed in terms of retail prices in the long term, simply because the drug lords increased the size of their shipments, considering that they were making more money, offsetting the local dealers' costs, knowing only about 1% would be intercepted anyway. To President Richard Nixon, illicit drugs were, in 1971, quote, America's public enemy number one. Sound familiar? It should. The statement has been used a whole fucking lot. Seems awfully paranoid thinking about it, doesn't it? Reminds me of a neighbor with crazy fast-growing kudzu knocking on my door to tell me to cut my grass because snakes could breed there and harm their children. In other words, my grass should be your last concern. That kudzu problem, which is the America's demand for drugs, in your yard is what is causing the demand, dumbass. That's where the snakes breed. Drug users in this country are estimated to be among millions, perhaps 30 or more, not counting the socially acceptable addicts. You know, alcoholics, smokers, prescription drug abusers.
I want to bitch for just 1 second. I may begin doing this from time to time at the ends of my videos just because I was thinking of this on the way home. And of course, it's been bitched about 1,000 times. I just wanted to at least give my perspective on this. Most of the time, I drive conservatively, and sometimes I don't. It depends. If I'm running late for work, if I'm for whatever reason, I don't know. No, I don't always have a valid reason for speeding. Sometimes I just do it. I ride a very fast motorcycle, so I like just going fast sometimes. But here's a question for you. Would you rather share the road with a large group of people driving 150 miles per hour? I mean, carefully paying attention to who's in front of them, who's swapping lanes. Just watching. Than just one jackass who's going 60 miles per hour in the fast lane. I mean, who would you rather be beside or right behind? Okay, he's over in the fast lane. Does this not strike anybody as dangerous? I mean, America seems to be very, very worried about terrorism. Oh my God, terrorism, drugs, black people, whatever you're afraid of. I have no idea, but I got to tell you, it doesn't make a lot of sense that after having so much fear and starting wars, around the world about the things that to me seem a little less than this, because this is your fucking life, all right? You're in the fast lane. You're in my fast lane, by the way. I mean, it's the fast lane. Slower. There are signs. I've even heard somebody say, "Well, there's no law. I need to stay out of the fast lane." Well, actually, it says slower traffic, keep fucking right. Okay. So, all right. So we got people, and they're not just in the fast lane. That's not my only complaint. They just kind of sit all around the interstate. All right. They create a virtual obstacle. Well, it's not virtual. They create a fucking obstacle course. And so if you're in a hurry and you're trying to get somewhere, no matter, who cares if speeding's illegal? That's besides the point. You're placing yourself in a position of danger by being there. I mean, what if you decide to swap lanes and somebody does come up at 100 miles per hour? They're going to nail you. You're going to die. But what do these people do? What do these people do? They fucking complain. People here drive too fast. People, other people. Are you retarded? You're going to complain about my driving? You're fucking suicidal. There's something wrong with that. Don't complain about my driving. Let me go and kill myself on some other dickhead like you up the road. If I'm so irresponsible and reckless, then I'll die somewhere else. In the meantime, stay out of my fucking way. If you would get that concept, if all of you would get that concept, then maybe, just maybe, the roads would become safer. Maybe traffic fatalities would come down. But I tell you what the fucking problem is. That American sense of fucking entitlement. I'm not bashing all Americans, all right? I have it too, to some degree. I am just entitled. I'm entitled to speed. They fucking criticize me for it, all right? But I'm telling you, when you got 4 goddamn lanes of traffic, let me get the speeding ticket, all right? Let me die up the road when I can't handle that turn because I'm going too fast. At least there'll be nobody in my fucking way, right? At least my car won't careen into yours because you're in my fucking lane, or you're in the lane next to me, or you're right next to me, and I'm staying over in the fast lane. Don't let that happen. Don't be a fucking dumbass, all right? Stop. Just stop. And I know this is falling on not deaf ears, but ears with screwdrivers and fingers and cotton balls and all kinds of weird things in them that keeps them from seeing that their fucking logic is backwards. Oh, the cops need to set up more road. There needs to be more speed traps around here. What? Well, fine, set up more speed traps. The people speeding aren't going to fucking care. They're going to keep doing it. Stay out of their fucking way. Let them get tickets. You're not fucking police. Do you think you're blockading the road? I sometimes think you are, because you get next to each other, like you know each other, like your friends driving down the road. If you people want to drive at the same fucking speed, right next to each other, just... let me kill myself, all right? That's it. That's all it takes. You could just say, I'm in the right lane, and all them guys with the clear open road there, they're going to die eventually. Well, maybe not. Maybe you can make it safer for the both of us, all right? Think about both of us. If you're so concerned for my safety and everybody on the road's safety, then why don't you help and do your part and make it safer by getting your fucking ass out of the way? That's it. I will face the consequences of my actions, not you. You're not my father. I don't need somebody holding my hand. Whew. Anyway, good night.